Welcome back, folks. We're talking final episode with Dave Watson. I must admit, Dave, I've absolutely loved having you
Good, man.
for these 4 episodes.
I've loved it myself. I think it's mint. So.
We've gone above and beyond. And mate, we've not done one 30-minute session, but today, this one is 25 minutes. Can you turn around, Dave, and press start on my timer that I try and ignore for the most part?
Good luck.
So we've covered so much ground with your little mini document series, doc series we've had.
Documentaries.
We've covered all sorts, mate. We've covered, God, your own journey. We've covered mental health as a topic and a lot of social media, as always, on my things.
Yeah.
A lot about possibly what we think can be the keys moving forward in mental health. We spoke about being a man.
Manliness.
And the struggles possibly that you've experienced as a man and that commonly people talk to you about when they roll in. One of the things I want to talk to you about for 20 minutes, because I think I'm intrigued personally how people find this, because is being a parent. Knowing smile.
Being a parent.
It's not the easiest gig, is it?
No, it's not. It's an interesting one, actually, isn't it? Because I think as a parent, you want to learn and take things that you've seen whilst you've grown up as a kid with your parents. And there's also going to be a lot of things you don't want to. And for me, there was a lot of no-goes as a parent to what well, just growing up.
What are your no-goes as a parent?
What my no-goes? I don't want to be. It's really interesting because my parent has changed. So for the first 6 years of like the twins and the eldest life, I wasn't really there. I was a pretty shit dad, you know. I was there, but I wasn't there. Does that make sense? I was in the house, but I wasn't present. I was either angry, pissed, gambling, doing something like that. So I was never really there. Yeah, I wanted all this to be a perfect parent because I'd had such a shit upbringing myself. So no dad, just me mum who struggled. So I didn't want to be this shit parent, but ultimately I was being a pretty shit parent, a pretty shit dad, shit role model. And it's only when I started sorting myself out that I actually realised that, you know, I was a pretty shit dad and I had work to do. Now, I've still got work to do. Do you know what I mean? But one thing I've done and I've stuck to, I'll tell you a quick story, is when my eldest, Summer Rose, she was either like 2, 3, 4 maybe. We're waiting for the twins, so she must have been two-ish, waiting for the twins to be born. And she was a right pain in the ass going to bed. She'd jump out of the cot and she'd lie on her back and kick the fucking life out the door. You're like, man, you need to go to sleep. So one
How old
day,
was she?
She was around 2 or 3. Because the twins are 22 months younger. So yeah, around then. And I think this
You rattled them out pretty quick, though.
Yeah, you know, like Superman.
You were on a roll back then.
Yeah, Superman. I tell you, it's interesting. But yeah.
Okay, in joke like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Some of the days.
But I like my mum, she like, I get a wooden spoon and shit when I was younger. So Summer was having like a meltdown. So I went up in her room. She's butt naked in her room. She's having a meltdown, and she said something or did something, and I laughed. And I turned and walked out of the room, and she did this like karate, kicked me out the ass as I'm going out the door. I said, "You do that one more time, you're gonna get smacked." And I'd never smacked the kids. So she did it again, and I got hold of her and I went, and it was so fucking pathetic. She looked at me, I looked at her, and I went, "Let that be a lesson to you." And from that moment on, I made a decision I'd never smack my kids.
Really?
And I've never smacked my kids.
Brilliant.
Any of them.
Any of them?
No, I've never smacked them.
Smacking is a big controversial topic nowadays.
But I'm not adverse now. Like, and throughout, there wasn't me going, I'm not going to smack them ever. It's just worked out that way. So now if they needed a whack, I would have given them a whack. But for me, there was never that moment where I felt it was deserved, because I see a lot of people do it, and I've been on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
Where you get mad and you can hit them too hard. Do you know what I mean?
Smacking
and stuff like that. And I'm
was
not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that.
Well, you obviously don't think it's
I don't think it's the way.
just the way. The way. Fucking hell.
But I'm not saying even now. I'm not even if one of my kids is having a meltdown or doing something that they wouldn't get a slap or a whack
They're
or
older.
anything.
They're older.
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah. The twins are 15 and the eldest 17.
17.
Yeah.
It's amazing how society shifted, because I think when I grew up, people got smacked. Kids got smacked, didn't they?
I got hiding.
Well, you know what I mean? I think, okay, maybe, not every kid got hiding, but I mean, people got smacked, didn't they?
Yeah.
And there's an argument for, okay, was that good or bad? I'm not an expert on child psychology, I'm going to be quite honest. So I don't know.
I think sometimes it can bring you back as well, though. As in the child, if they're on a right meltdown and they're doing something or they're being angry or something and they get smacked, it's almost that come back. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but...
Happened to me at boxing, that.
I won my boxing,
Someone,
mate.
no, I mean, somebody, little slap. I was like, oh, someone trying to talk to me. I was like, oh, yeah,
Bring
that
you
brought
back.
me back. Yeah, wasn't but,
Get out, yeah.
but I wonder, this is an interesting topic about parenting, or an interesting topic, inside of parenting. There's a lot of pressure as a parent. Am I doing this the right way?
Yeah. Isn't it just?
I think a lot of people don't necessarily share how they do it for fear that people are going to judge them.
100%. Funny, I was having a conversation the other day and they were talking about parenting. We're talking about parenting. Like, I've always been a bit of a potty mouth, so I swear around the kids, always have. It's not saying like I'm going to swear around my kids. I've just always been a bit of a potty mouth. And as they were younger, their favourite thing would be every swear word I did say was like the S word. Dad said the S word. So they knew. And it's only now, and I say more so with my eldest, so she's a bit of a potty mouth around me now. And I said to her the other day, I said, darling, I've realised, but she's at college, she's playing rugby and all this and that. She went, and she just looked at me, she went, really, Dad? I was just like, yeah, fair one. Do you know what I mean? But I'd rather have a little bit about them. But then I've also known
the worst thing that an adult can do. I mean, isn't it weird though? My kids would never swear, People say, oh, they'd never swear. Like, that's some kind of amazing feat of achievement in their life. Like, I find that weird. Like,
yeah, I have a little bit about you, I'd say.
A bit like that quote we shared a while back in the other episodes about, is it Bukowski, as you say it? Where he's like, amazing how we get caught up in little things like that, but seem to let, the aspect of our wasting our life completely kind of goes unnoticed. Right. And I find that when you think, is bad language the worst thing on the planet? Isn't it weird? It's just words, isn't it?
Yeah, but some people do find it the worst thing on the planet.
Yeah, and if you do, God, you're probably not listening to this podcast, are you? Because it's swearing all the time. But I'm like, if is it bad that a 17-year-old swears?
No.
I watch programs where 17-year-olds are murdering other fucking kids.
Yeah, drinking, drugs, whatever.
Yeah, and we're like, oh God, swearing. That's very, God.
So for me personally, if they want to swear, as long as it's like, I don't know whether the word's the right word, context or whatever it is, it's like, if they're telling a story and that and whatever it may be, or they're generally pissed off and they're like, Dad, I'm pissed off, fine, but it's one of them where, I know I've got friends with kids that they want their kids swearing, which is fine. But I'm not adverse to my kids swearing.
Yeah, I could be really...
Time and a place.
This could be really triggering to some people, but again, I find we get caught... If you're about parenting, we get caught up around things like swearing, all this. It's like, I see the amount of kids, I went on holiday, the amount of kids that were fat.
Yeah.
I mean, not like, oh, you're a bit chunky. I mean, like, oh, you're fat in you.
Mate.
You're really, really fat.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that terrible? Yeah. Well, to say about a kid, well, maybe, but again, if I had a kid that I'd be more concerned about that and whether they use the odd choice word,
Yeah, but...
Oh, God, you swore. It's like,
But you're not allowed to say the things like that now, Si.
Of course you can. I don't get that. It's like, we've been talking about mental health.
But there's only certain things you're allowed to say, and if you do say it, then you're going to be offensive.
So I can't say I saw fat kids on holiday.
Yeah, no, I believe you can. But if you say that, if you said that to a parent, stand by. Do you know what I mean?
What, their kid's fat?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, my kid's chunky.
boom.
My little boy is chunky.
like-
His hands are about as big as mine. He is a flipping chunky kid. He's put together, and I sometimes look at him and think, oh, I would never make a deal out of it because I wouldn't want it to become a thing that was in his head. But if sometimes you see a child, and I think everyone thinks this, and you think, wow, you're really, really, really overweight. You've got 3 chins. You're massive. That is a form of abuse, surely.
So
If it was a dog, I had a dog I rescued, I'm sorry, and it was 26 kilos, spaniel. They're meant to be about 14. It was fat. It had ass as big as this table. We called it Kim K. Flo, beautiful, softest shit. People would look at you and I'd feel embarrassed. They'd be like, oh my God. They said, oh my God, your dog is so fat. And it was like, that is terrible. But you can't say that about a young human being because that's abusive or not fair. It's like, no, I don't think that's good.
So for me, let's say something like wrong, like some medical reason why a kid.
Yeah, of course. There's context.
There is.
And you have to take that into consideration. You're bang on.
There is. But then there's also that thing of like, you shouldn't swear, your kid's fucking massive. So I shouldn't swear, but my kids are fit and healthy, but they swear, but your kid can't fucking walk down the road without sweating. Do you know what I mean? So what's worse?
This is what I mean about parenting. They probably go, well, I'm doing a really good job because my part's very polite and that's brilliant, fantastic. But you might look at that and go, wow. And I think there's no one way to parent, is there?
No, there ain't. We all got our different views and opinions on how we parent. So it's a complex world. I look at things and go, are you fucking serious? But then there might be people that look at me and go, is he fucking serious? You know, did you just say that? Or did you do that? Or what I'm trying to do as a parent is, and I try and show my girls now, because I'm a better dad now. They're very lucky in that with me and my wife, Tara, that they see a stable, loving relationship.
Yeah.
It's not fake. It's not put on. It is what it is.
I haven't seen pictures of you on a jet or anything on Facebook.
Oh, no, fuck's sakes.
I'm not sure his relationship is that strong.
On my Lambo, you know.
You haven't released your 7 secrets to a happy relationship course yet, and that I'm starting to wonder if you really have got a happy relationship.
Yeah, I know. And I ain't released that, multi-million-pound fucking course yet either. So I'm going to have to up my game just to prove it. I see, like I said in another episode, or wherever it was, I see a lot of people doing well in life, the house, the car, the job, but they have a shit relationship, and here's the thing, kids pick up on that. They pick up on that if you're rowing constantly and stuff. And it is interesting because I think, it was Peterson said something about you should stay together for your children. And again, that's very controversial, that, because I'm always been a fact of, well, if it ain't working, you need to sort your shit out. Or the kid's going to pick up on it.
He has said that because the family unit and the destruction it can cause.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if you add context to that, if they're in, I don't know, because sometimes you can see reels and it's just out of context.
Yeah, so that's the thing, whether that was in context.
There's none of the whole conversation where he maybe points the counter where you might go, but actually if you're in a really abusive relationship and they're witnessing that, then possibly that's not. I suppose he's just trying to say, hey, sometimes people split up over the most minor of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably not beneficial for the young people in and around that.
But I think it's also worth, because again, parenting, a lot of people quit too soon. So for me personally, right, people fall in love. They fall in love because they fucking love each other. There's an attraction. Do you know what I mean? There's all this thing. You don't suddenly lose that. Unless something like major happens, you don't suddenly lose that. That happens over a period of time. And for me, that's lack of communication, whatever it may be. I don't know, whatever it is you're doing. So in my mind, there's times to fix things. I've been with my wife 24 years. We've been married 20 years next year. And I was a massive twat for years, and we're still together and we're happy and all this, that and the other. So my children get to see that. So, I keep telling my kids I'm super cool. They don't listen to me. They're like, yeah, sure, Dad. But, the older kids, like MILF, DILF, whatever it is, we get it said all the time to us. You're like, yeah, of course, see, told you. But it's interesting. But all I'm trying to do is show my children what's possible. And I'm probably too honest at times, like, especially around the financial like situation. They don't need to know some of that shit. But I also want them to have that, actually, that's fucking reality. And my past choices in life are where I'm at today. So maybe it's a little food for thought for them, but I don't want to overwhelm them. And I have pushed them before to do meditation, journal, do this, do that. And at the time I thought it was right, but now I'm like, actually, I'm just, as corny as it sounds, is just trying to lead by example.
Yeah.
In as many areas as I can.
It's true.
And it's harder with younger kids than it is with older kids, because younger kids don't really get anything because they're young.
I read it the other day that your kid's more disposed to anxiety if they grow up around somebody who's always rushing and late and stuff like that.
So my eldest was very anxious. She was very, very, very anxious, and she has literally gone from being this anxious little wired, tiny, scared, timid thing to getting on a fucking train every day, going to college, playing
brilliant.
rugby.
Yeah,
it's
the one who went
unreal to see. You know, the
Yeah.
twins, I'm really lucky with the twins. As much as a pain in the ass they are to me, they got good arts and they're literally just enjoying their lives all the time. Whereas I'm like, you fucking do my head in. But they're good little humans, you know? And it's...
I think that surely that is the barometer of parenting. We can get caught up in all this stuff, but I'm just thinking it, and you know, we always feel under pressure, I think, to be doing a good job.
Yeah.
I don't think I know too many parents who don't wonder if they're doing a good job. I've talked about that a lot. Like, God, am I any good at this? Like, am I ballsing this up? Am I doing all right? What should I be doing? What shouldn't I be doing? You know, God, is this going to affect him down the line? Or
the old, what have I done? Why have they done that? Why have they done that? What haven't I done for them to do that?
Yeah, why have they done that? Is that down to me?
Me,
or,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it gets worse and worse as you go. But I think, you know, I won't say are they happy, because you can't always be happy, can you? No. Can you? Shit happens. But I suppose for me, I just think, hey, if you're comfortable being yourself, that's all I'd wish for you.
Yeah.
Really. You'll make it out what you will, but to know that you're loved and as you are, you don't need to do anything to make this work. I suppose that's a Gabble thing he talks about, but it's like, yeah, you're a little shitbag, I'll tell you that, but you know, I still love you. I don't know, I think we think we can go really wrong with stuff, of course, but I suppose the whole point of this is there's so many different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Who decides who's a good or bad parent? We just discussed it. Oh, your kid swears. Oh, your kid's fat, you know? Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I suppose we're all trying to bring people up, if you think about it. We're raising a little thing, how we see best into the world.
For our experiences.
Yeah, for our own experiences.
Yeah. And you
That's
try and
what we're
protect them
doing.
too much as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you don't want them to suffer as much, as especially you've had a tough time. But I think they've got to learn. And so Tara will definitely let them be more adventurous than I will. Like, if it's doing some crazy shit, I might get down. And she'll be like, just let them have a go. Like, if, I don't know, when they were kids, like super high climbing frames, I'm like, no, get down. Making me fucking nervous, man. She'll be like, crack on. I'm like, whoa, just come on now, sit back down. And even today, you know, it's like there'd be certain things I'm like, no. She's like, just let them do it. No. So, and I think it's having that good relationship. They get to see that relationship. And I think now they're getting older, they understand it and they do see it, that their parents actually get on all right. And
Nice.
because they are learning, whether we like it or not, they are learning from us.
All the time. Do you think, what do you think people feel guiltiest about with their kids? What have you felt guiltiest about?
I'm not being able to provide, like financially, materialistically.
Okay, what else?
That I wasted probably a big part of their lives of not being a dad, even though I was there. You know, I missed out. I remember a lot of the things, but like I say, I was never really present.
Unable to sort of engage and
Yeah,
enjoy
I
it,
was
maybe.
fucking useless, you know. I just like get stressed out at everything. Whereas Tara would be like calm and, you know.
Women are like these little bloody rocks, aren't they?
Mate,
Mums and
they
that.
just do it.
They're just crap. My mum was the same. You think, God, you actually look back, Mum, you're just tough as nails, really.
She's just, but I think they are. And, do you know, I think with women as well, it's like, because I coached women for a little bit and they're completely different because they do everything. They do everything. Not, you know, we look after ourselves pretty much. That's it. You know, we rock up and do a bit of this, do a bit of that, but they literally run the fucking world. Do you know what I mean? And then themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. So they have a lot more, and their bodies do a lot more crazy shit than our bodies do, and so they got a lot more to deal with. Do you know what I mean? So that's a regret for me. It's not being more. I said about kids earlier. I discussed having a young'un a little while back just to see how I'd be, because I'm a different man now.
Different man, yeah. But also, you've used that to adjust moving forward. Surely, you're not going to make those same mistakes again.
No, man.
What have you changed?
What have I changed?
Yeah.
I'm calm. So I used to get like Mr. Grumpy cards for Christmas, cups every year, without fail. I don't get them no more. That ain't no accident. You know, so they'll still say that I'm too stressed and get too irritable. But the problem is with me, I say how I see it. So if I am pissed off, I just say I'm pissed off. Where a lot of people go, I'm fine. I'm like, no, I'm pissed off,
I suppose you're just telling people.
Do you know what I mean? So, but you know, they do. You know, I am funny. I try really hard with them, even when they're like just being little assholes. I'm like, come on, man, let's go. And I very rarely lose my rag.
That's one thing I try and make a point of, actually. Just try not to lose my temper.
Yeah.
Everyone loses their temper with kids. Everyone at some point. But I'd like to make that the anomaly, not the constant.
Yeah, because that was me. I was reactive for years at everything.
But you think you're trying to deal with your own shit.
Yeah.
And you can barely deal with that sometimes.
Yeah.
So then you got someone else's shit and you're like, fuck me, now I got your shit to deal with and I can't even deal with my shit. So it's just like, all of a sudden you do react. That's why people flip out and have road rage about being cut up. It's like, mate, that's pathetic. But it's like, this is the final nail in the coffin. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm fucking fed up.
Falling down, I'm going.
and you're getting it.
Yeah.
And we're late for school.
Yeah.
Fuck the lot of you, you know?
Interesting with swearing. If I ever swear at my kids because I've got angry, I will immediately apologise.
I think,
because I think there's a difference between swearing, but whereas before I wouldn't. So I know it's very, very rare that if they get called out to the landing, they know they're in trouble because I'm coming up the stairs and I'm having a chat and they're normally crying before I've got out there. But it happens so rarely. My wife's more the disciplinarian. When they piss my wife off, that's generally when I go up and go, listen, I ain't fucking having this. But if I do swear at them and it's like at them, it's like, nah, I'm sorry.
That's another thing I think. So I mean, but again, one thing I try and do is apologise and admit my mistakes.
Yeah.
Because I also want them
to be able to
do that. To know that they can go, oh, you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Me go, yeah, that's cool. Well done for saying that. Because we all do things that you're sorry for, don't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Again, I don't know. I mean, we got caught up in the social media world, but earlier. But you see social media, and sometimes you can see people living these perfectly parented lives, and that's great. You know, maybe that is the case. On the same time, we know that that's not always the case, is it? You know, prime example of that. I went on holiday. I put a picture up in the network of this, and we're all sat on this fucking what are they called, like little mini things they drive.
Tuk-tuk bus,
tuk-tuk thing. And you got me smiling. You got Ari, his mum smiling, and Renee just like bawling everywhere because she hated it. And you're like, but there was one on my phone where she kind of managed to stop crying and took it. And if you just saw that, you went, oh, you know, that lovely. But actually, really, that was like just a baby crying for a 20-minute flipping journey, like absolutely beside herself and needing some kind of comfort when we got back there. But you might, you know, it wasn't, and that is social media in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, because
you can look at it and go, that's what I want people to see.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
And that's the pressure.
Yeah.
That's the pressure, isn't it? It's like you want people to see that. especially
Yeah.
if you're filming it, you know? So, yeah, it's difficult. But I think as long as you, as a parent, more often than not, got your shit together and can hold shit together. And if you haven't got your shit together, you change your shit. So you get your shit together and then just try and lead by example as best you can. And put your hands up and be willing to put your hands up.
Yeah, I just think it's important to acknowledge, because we're going to start wrapping this up now.
Yeah, I know.
What's the time, Mark? Yeah, but we're going to finish it right now. What a mini episode. But I think it's important to acknowledge that we all sometimes feel like we're failing as a parent. I don't know many people I've spoken to in the parental world, you don't sometimes think like, I think I'm failing. And it can bleed in me like, man, I think I'm failing at work. I think I'm failing at home. I'm falling short everywhere here. Feel a bit all consuming, but we all feel like that. And there's no one way to parent. I think
We're all
like,
different.
there's no one way to live your life, is there? But when it comes to this, like, there's these ways. This is the acceptee. Like, I think there's all, whatever. Like, as long as you're not, you know, abusing something, you know, like in this, like, oh my God, that is really not what you want to be doing. There's lots of different ways to go about it based on your own values, your own experiences. We all value different things. I would probably go, this is what I think is a good life. You'd be like, no, I think this is a good life. Well, we're probably going to bring our kids up very differently based on that, aren't we?
And that's okay.
Yeah, like I don't need to go, Dave.
That's what I mean.
God, Dave, why? Do it like me.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
But that's
no,
what people
I'm-
do, don't
I'm
they?
cracking on, though. I'm happy. Well, you'd be happier if you did it like this.
Yeah.
That's
It's interesting, isn't it?
It's crazy how there's this one way.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I just want to say, as we wrap this up, this mini episode,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming up.
No worries,
It's been a blast, mate.
Loved
You've
it.
shared some great things. I appreciated your honesty with your own story.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure everyone did. I certainly enjoyed the chat about mental health. I enjoyed the chat about being a man.
Being a man.
And you are very manly, Dave.
Man.
You're a man.
Man.
And I've enjoyed a little back and forth about parenting.
Yeah, man.
So on that note, it's been a blast. And thank you for your time.
No, thank you for having me on here. I've loved it.
Good.
Thanks.
And I'm not sure what else to say other than that's good night from me. And that's good night from him. And that's good night from Mark. Say good night, Mark.
Good night, Mark.
Good, good night, Tinky Winky. If I have to listen to that one more time. Right. See you, folks.